Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Armageddon. Today we're going to be playing a Dominaria flashback draft. Dominaria is widely regarded as one of the best limited formats and is very value oriented. So there's a lot of interesting gameplay involved. So we're going to jump into a draft and see how we do. Here we go. Okay, pack one, pick one. Our rare, unfortunately, is not exciting. Cabal Stronghold. It provides extra mana if you have lots of swamps in play, but lands at rare are not really what you want to start with. Green and blue are the two strongest colors, so picking a green or blue card to start with is probably a good start. At common, Vicious Offering is an efficient removal spell in black, so that would be a good pick. Divination, not often very good in most limited formats, but is one of blue's top commons in Dominaria. I think I just said that wrong. Anyway, and then Spore Swarm is an excellent way to generate saplings for the sapling deck. And I just took Wrath Capuchin because I timed out. Well, that was bad. Okay. Woodland Cemetery would be interesting, but I think the pick here is Cast Down. So unfortunately, it's unlikely that any of the cards I was looking at picking from pack 1 are going to come back. Maybe the green common 4/4 will. We'll see. But at least Cast Down is a good start to a black deck. Although there are quite a few legendary creatures in Dominaria, I should say. Keep saying that wrong. Wrath Capuchin, definitely unfortunate. The historic theme is not well supported. Okay. Soul Salvage is fine, but I think not a reason to go into black. Academy Drake is pretty good, but I think the best card to go with Cast Down is Saproling Migration. Green-black Saprolings is one of the strongest archetypes, so if we can start moving in that direction, I think that would be pretty powerful. If Saproling Migration weren't here, I think I would take Academy Drake as an evasive threat and then Soul Salvage. Saproling Migration is also one of green's top commons, so if we don't end up in green-black, perhaps we can end up in another green archetype. Champion of the Flame, there's not enough Orin equipment to make this any good. Thallid Omnivore would be a good pick, but I see another Saproling Migration. Rat Colony is a trap. It's terrible with only one toughness with all the Saprolings running around. So Saproling Migration, I think, is the clear pick here. I'm not sure if getting a Saproling Migration pick 3 is a signal that green is open. Because it's such a good card, I would expect that it would be a signal. Now we don't see any green cards. Dark Bargain is fine. Card Advantage. Card Advantage is better in Dominaria. I keep getting that wrong. But I think the pick is Eviscerate. Card draw is fine, but removal is good. So not seeing green card pick 4 is a bit of a worrying sign. All right, still no green. But Whisper is pretty good. Windgrace Acolyte is fine. Coldwater Snapper and Divination are good in blue, so is Verdalian Arcanist. I think Whisper is the most powerful card in the pack, so we'll take that. It's particularly good if we can end up in black-green, because we can sacrifice saplings to get real creatures back. And now we see Caligo Skinwitch. Caligo Skinwitch is one of those creatures that you want to be able to play for its kicker cost, because then it has a benefit when it enters, rather than just playing it as a 2-mana 1/3, which is not particularly good. But this is a good value play. There are some green cards. They're not the greatest, but that is a good sign that maybe green hasn't been completely cut off. Nothing in here especially exciting, but we'll take Cabal Paladin to cut black. The fact that Cabal Paladin has only 2 toughness is a real liability. So far we have 1 historic spell. Historic spells are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. Okay, Divination Wield, that's interesting. So maybe we end up in blue-black? Thalarian Scholar is not particularly exciting. I do like Primordial Worm. If it had Trample, it would be better, because it can be chump blocked by Saprolings. That's the sort of thing that's good to get back with Whisper. I think it's enough better than the blue card to take it. I guess I'll take Sorcerer's Wand, nothing particularly exciting. I don't think I'm sending a signal by passing Rat Colony. So we'll just see what we need to add to the collection. DT Journey Mage is good if we end up in blue-red. Cabal Evangel is a 2/2 for 2 vanilla, which is not exciting, but you need early plays, early blockers to get down. Okay. With the cards I have so far, Oath of Teferi is just no good in limited because there are you see so few planeswalkers because they're at mythic rarity. Fight with Fire is excellent, and I would take it if I weren't so heavy into black and green. Mammoth Spider is a fine roadblock. Reach is very important. Green might be open from this direction. And we see a Saproling Migration. We also see Vodalian, Arcanist, Divination, and Cloud Reader Sphinx, which are also very powerful. I'm only 1 card deep into blue, though, so I think we take our 3rd Saproling Migration. Oh my goodness. Llanowar Elves. Someone passed Llanowar Elves. Nothing else really going on. Lingering Phantom I don't think is very good. But Llanowar Elves, especially if you start with that in your opening hand, you're just in such good shape. The Morari Conjecture is powerful, and maybe we consider splashing. I think it's worth taking here over a second Mammoth Spider. Befuddle is a fine combat trick. trick. Rona, I don't think is very good. Cabal Paladin, not too much going on in our... I think it's Opt, to be honest. Opt isn't exactly splashable, but maybe we end up in Sultai. Although there aren't dual lands at common, so fixing for 3 colors is not exactly available. At least I don't think there are dual lands at common. Sapperling Omnivore, Thallid Omnivore, I should say, is good with all of our Sapperling migrations. I don't think Divest is particularly good, so I'll take Unwind. Unwind is fine. You can counter a card draw spell. That can be pretty important. Obviously not very good with the Mirari Conjecture because... Oh no, you can cast Unwind and then return it to your hand. But copying it is not particularly useful. I think Baloth Gorger is the pick here. It's fine to play on turn 4 as a 4/4, but if you can kick it, it's pretty nice too. I'll take Divest to cut black, but I don't think we're playing it. Another Divination. I think that's better than Demonic Vigor. We also have Whisper to recur creatures from the graveyard. Anyway, so I have a number of blue cards worth splashing. Gaia's Protector, the 2 toughness, again, is pretty bad. Lingering Phantom, I don't think makes the cut, but we'll take it. Okay, I'll take another Mammoth Spider here over Pierce the Sky. Drudge Sentinel is a trap card, apparently, so you want to avoid that. Alright, these don't matter. Guess I'll take Skirt Prospector in case I ever make a Goblins deck. Okay. Grow from the Ashes is perfect to enable a splash. I would be happy to get Ancient Animus, Dark Bargain, Eviscerate, Academy Journey Mage, not Chainer's Torment, that's apparently also a trap. But I think with the cards we have, Grow from the Ashes is what we want, because we want to be able to enable splashing. I would also be excited to see Skittering Surveyors. I don't know how good this is. I mean, I can search up, say, a removal spell and then a creature to put in the graveyard for Whisper to get back. But maybe Dark Bargain is just better. And it's easier on the mana with only 1 black pip as opposed to 2 for Final Parting. So I think I do take Dark Bargain. I'm not even sure if I play Dark Bargain because I have 2 copies of Divination. Alright, Slimefoot the Stowaway. Nothing else. Stronghold Confessor is an aggressive card, and aggressive decks are not particularly strong in Dominaria. Keep saying that wrong. Whereas Slimefoot is just what we're looking for. Alright. Wizard's Retort is not splashable. Settle the Score. We don't have any Planeswalkers, but it's still removal. Although maybe the Eldest Reborn is just better. I think the Eldest Reborn is better. It's also easier to cast. I mean, if opponent is playing Saprolings, then the Eldest Reborn looks terrible, but it is otherwise a good value play. I could splash Syncopate. I've got plenty of Saproling migrations as early plays. I think I have enough card draw. I don't need Weight of Memory. Coldwater Snapper is fine. It's good with enchantments that give it flying. Grun, because it doesn't have trample, isn't all that very good. I'll still take it here. It's better than any of the other options. I mean, I guess Rona, you can cast any spells. I thought it was just historic. But I think I prefer getting Memorial to Folly. We have playables. Okay, Fungal Plots is excellent for our deck. Alright, so Dark Bargain came back, which is, other than Chainer's Torment, the least exciting option, but I'm not surprised that the other stronger cards got taken. Okay, Final Parting. The picks here don't matter, so I'll just take an uncommon to go toward Vault Progress. Picks here don't matter. I don't know if I'm playing either of the other two Dark Bargains. We didn't open any or see any Skittering Surveyors, so our only real splash enabler is Grow from the Ashes. Let's see. What other non-land cards might we consider playing? I forget what was in the first pack with Wrath Capuchin, but that was definitely, timing out there was definitely terrible. So I'm not really sure how good counter spells are if that's your splash color, because you're not necessarily going to reliably have your splash color when you need to cast the counter spells, whereas something like Divination or the Mirari Conjecture is good at any point. Opt is not a splash card. And the fewer cards we're splashing, the less of a problem it is that we don't have more fixing. Alright, so I think we do cut the counter spells. Final Parting doesn't cost any life. So there is that it has over Dark Bargain. I think we cut at least 2 copies of Dark Bargain. I might still want to have one for a card draw spell that is easy to cast that I don't have to splash. Grun, not great. Getting it back with Whisper isn't particularly interesting because then it's not kicked, and you really want to cast Grun for his kicker cost. But we don't have Trample. You could have trouble closing out the game. We do have Slimefoot the Stowaway. Cabal Paladin triggers off 1, 2, 3, 4. If we played Grun, 5 spells. That's actually not terrible. In my previous Bloomborough draft, I had a number of synergy cards that I had about 4 or 5 cards that worked with them in the deck, and they worked out pretty well. So it could make the cut, although I'm less interested in it if I cut Grun. Lingering Phantom, I think, is just a worse historic payoff than Cabal Paladin. So I think we cut that. I think I want 17 lands, despite having Llanowar Elves and Grow from the Ashes for ramp, because I want to make sure I hit my land drops. And then I do have some late game mana sinks with Baloth Gorger and Caligo Skinwitch and Saproling Migration with Kicker and Fungal Plots to make Saprolings. So I think I do cut one more card here, and I think it is Cabal Paladin. It does give me some reach, this is true, but it's a defensive liability with only 2 toughness. It's below rate, so I don't really think it makes the cut. I do also have plenty of other things to do it for with Thallid Omnivore, Whisper, Baloth Gorger, Dark Bargain, and Eviscerate. So I think that is our final cut. Alright, so I'm going to add some lands back in, and then we'll take a final look at the deck. So here's a look at the final deck. We've got Llanowar Elves, which if we can get it down on turn 1, can allow us to make some very explosive plays. Cabal Evangel, basically just here as a roadblock. Slimefoot Stowaway, the Stowaway's win condition. Whisper to get key creatures back from the graveyard. Thallid Omnivore to go with all of our saplings. Baloth Gorger as a big blocker. Mammoth Spiders as key roadblocks, especially against flyers. And Primordial Worm as some top end. We've got some removal with the Eldest Reborn, Eviscerate, and Cast Down. Lots of Saproling synergies with 3 copies of Saproling Migration and Fungal Plots. Grow from the Ashes to Splash. And then our blue splash is for 2 copies of Divination and the Mirari Conjecture to buy back instants and sorceries. And then we have some card advantage in black in Dark Bargain and Final Parting. So that's our deck. I think it's reasonably strong, but we'll see how we do. So, without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. On the draw, we've got our 2 primary colors. I could play Saproling Migration on 2, or try to save it to play with Kicker, which would be better with Slimefoot, because the more Saprolings you have with Slimefoot around, the better. Dark Bargain for some card draw, Eviscerate for removal. I think this is keepable. One of the things I want to say about flashback drafts like this one is they're a great opportunity to play in a draft format that you weren't around for when it was out the first time, or of course, if you were, to revisit old favorites. If opponent plays a 2-drop, I think we play Saproling Migration on 2. Alright. We've only drawn lands. And opponent didn't have a play on turn 2, so I think we wait to kick Sapperling Migration. Drudge Sentinel. Slimefoot Stowaway blocks it. No play by opponent. We draw another land. So far, the only spell we've drawn is Cabal Evangel. I could create a Sapperling with Slimefoot. Mind you, at least with hitting our land drops, we're getting to 6 mana to kick Sapperling Migration. It's definitely not worth trying to eviscerate the Drudge Sentinel, since it can get indestructible at instant speed. And I don't want to waste a spell on it just to get an attack in with Slimefoot, because we're trading 2 damage for 2 damage. So I think I hold up Dark Bargain. And then I think Slimefoot stays back to block Drudge Sentinel rather than get into harm's way. Alright, I think we take this. I don't have instant speed removal, which, to be honest, isn't that great against Drudge Sentinel with opponent having open mana. And I don't want to. Slimefoot is more valuable to me, so I don't want to lose him to a combat trick. And if opponent doesn't play a blocker, I can always attack with Slimefoot. They don't. So we'll Dark Bargain here. Wow. We are flooding out. 3 lands in a row. And we drew another land. Well, we might not be winning this one just because of how many lands we've drawn. I could play Cabal, Evangel, and an unkicked Sapperling Migration, but the most mana efficient play would either to be Eviscerate, which is not a good idea, or use Slimefoot's ability, which I think is a good idea. So we'll attack with Slimefoot. Opponent has something they can do at instant speed. That could just be activating Drudge Sentinel's ability. And then we can use Slimefoot's ability to create Sapperlings at instant speed. So we can wait until opponent attacks with Drudge Sentinel and block the Sentinel with a Sapperling and force them to use the indestructible tap out. Navigator's Compass. It does enable splashing. All right, opponent does not activate. We draw another sapling migration. That's great. So opponent lost their Drudge Sentinel for sapling. So I think that was very good exchange for me. I should have played Memorial to Folly on 5, since I only needed 4 mana for Slimefoot anyway. And opponent concedes. Alright, well there we go. So despite flooding out, we still got there. Slimefoot was as good as advertised. On we go. On the draw, which I honestly don't mind, in most of the sets Wizards has released recently, their limited format, or at least draft, has tended to be quite aggressive. So you want to be on the play, but Dominaria is a slower, value-oriented format. So being on the draw and getting that extra draw step is pretty nice. Unfortunately, I don't think I can keep this. I can't play Llanowar Elves on 1, and that's pretty much when you want to play Llanowar Elves. Caligo Skinwitch is my only early play, and I don't want to play that on 2. So I think we're going down to 6 here, because otherwise, unless we draw a forest right away, we either have a mediocre Caligo Skinwitch or wait until turn 4 for Dark Bargain. Okay, this is a lot better. We've got Llanowar Elves, which we can cast on turn 1. Don't have any turn 2 plays. I'm not sure what to send. Could be Whisper. If I get Grow from the Ashes, I can shuffle whatever I put on the bottom back into the library. I think it's Whisper here. I think we play Sapling Migration here, unkicked. Because I'll want to be able to start pressuring opponent. Urza's Tome is pretty slow. But it still provides value. Opponent mono white so far, and they activate Urza's Tome. Draw and discard. So even though it is very slow, Urza's Tome does provide value over time. Okay, missing our land drop is pretty bad here, to be honest. Otherwise, I could have ramped out Dark Bargain, which would be a great play for me so that I keep up with opponent's card advantage, or their selection anyway. Okay, opponent is black-white. That's the deck that cares about historic cards, so artifacts, legendary creatures and planeswalkers, and sagas are historic. Okay, still missing our land drop. At least once we hit land 3, we'll be able to get land 4 with Dark Bargain. Call the Cavalry is a great way to protect yourself. Alright, I think we destroy Cabal Paladin with Cast Down. Don't mind trading my Saprolings for the opponent's token. Alright, this is really concerning here. Missing land drops can lose you a game in a hurry. But as long as we can resolve Dark Bargain, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. I played the Saproling Migration unkicked because, again, we're pretty far from casting it. Okay, Stronghold Confessor. Finally, our 4th land. Honestly, I would take 2 lands off Dark Bargain at this point, just so I can keep hitting my land drops. I can do that at instant speed. I could play Thallid Omnivore, but I think I want to wait until at least turn 5 when I can hold up its ability. So we'll Dark Bargain end of turn, unless of course opponent uses Blood Tallow Candle on my Llanowar Elves. That would be a bit of a problem, because I'm counting on my Llanowar Elves to cast my spells in a timely manner. Blood Tallow Candle can also answer our Mammoth Spider. The Thallid Omnivore, if I have enough mana open, can get bigger. Alright, Pegasus Courser. That is a good aggressive creature. I do have Memorial Folly to buy back something like a Mammoth Spider. Alright, so we have to Dark Bargain here. And I think we take the 2 lands. And we can mill Slimefoot. Don't mind another land. You can always get Slimefoot back with Memorial to Folly. Opponent does hit their 6th land, so they can activate Blood Tallow Candle. Unfortunately, they have no incentive to do so because I can't block. Oh, Traxos is going to be a problem. Alright, now we're drawing all lands. Opponent at least is empty-handed. Which is a bit of a problem since now Caligo Skinwitch is pretty bad. We might have been able to cast Caligo's Skin Witch for good effect if we had hit our land drops in time. Alright, so opponent has to tap out to use Blood Tallow Candle. Opponent only attacking with Pegasus Courser? They decide not to attack. Okay, we draw blue. So now we're drawing all lands. So now I'm regretting keeping both lands with Dark Bargain. Alright, opponent's tapped out. Valid Omnivore can attack because I have Threat of Activation. Opponent blocks. Reconsiders. Well, I don't think I'm getting any better use out of Caligo's Skin Witch than I am by making opponent discard this card. So I think we kick the Caligo Skin Witch. And that was actually good because they could have untapped Traxos by playing the Joyous Familiar. Memorial to Glory. Make some roadblocks. Knight of New Benalia is fine. Opponent attacking with Stronghold Confessor. I don't think I block because I'd be trading two creatures, both of my saplings, for the Stronghold Confessor, and my saplings are more valuable to me for Thallid Omnivore than they are as chump blockers. So we let this through. Still flooding. Thallid Omnivore becomes a 5/5. So if they double block it, they lose both of their creatures, and I keep my Thallid Omnivore. So Memorial to Folly. I think we get Slimefoot back, which we can cast, because Slimefoot is going to be a great mana sink with all of these lands that we've drawn. And making more and more saplings to go with Valid Omnivore seems pretty strong to me. Alright. Opponent creates 2 1/1s, that's fine. Draws a card. They have 1 more historic permanent in their graveyard to exile. Again, if they attack with the Stronghold Confessor, we let it through. Alright, this is a good attack. Alright. I think we do block the Stronghold Confessor here. I'll gain 2 life. Assuming they kill the Saplings, which they do. We draw another land, so we are, despite missing our land drops early, now we're flooding out very hard. So it's a good thing we have Slimefoot in play to make Saplings with all these lands we have. And a good thing we had that Memorial to Folly to get Slimefoot back. Opponent has to chump. And I think we sacrifice the Sapling token to gain, we'll gain 3 life. And drain them for 1 with Slimefoot. And what I was saying about the historic archetype not being supported, opponent played Traxos, which untaps whenever you cast historic spells, and Traxos has not untapped even once. Now, they would have untapped Traxos if I hadn't made them discard their Joyous Familiar with the Caligos Skin Witch. So there is that. All right. So that's going to be 6 damage. Divination. All right. So that goes to show just how powerful the sapling strategy is, in that basically all we drew were for lands after we played Dark Bargain, but we still won the game because of having saplings and getting back Slimefoot. Anyway, on we go. On the draw again. We don't mind that. Because Dominaria is a slower format, being on the draw can often be an advantage. We've got Eviscerate and the Eldest Reborn as removal. Hopefully opponent is not also playing saplings. Grow from the Ashes on 3. I think we do play it turn 3 and not try to save it for turn 5. And Baloth Gorger, which right now I think we play on turn 4, unless of course opponent plays something we want to eviscerate. Alright, Caligos Skin Witch. I kind of want to save that for 6 mana. Opponent green so far. Oh, Eldest Reborn now looking terrible. And now I think I do play Caligos Skin Witch, because otherwise those saplings are going to get to hit me 2 turns in a row. And that can really add up, as we saw in game 1 when we were the ones who played the early saplings and started beating down with them. So this will be the saddest Caligos Skin Witch ever, but we want the early blocker against the sapling tokens. Alright, and that was the right play. Alright. We have drawn land 4, but I still think it's correct to be efficient and use our mana. So we'll get our blue source with Grow from the Ashes. We do need double black for final parting. Oh, opponent is black-green. They dark bargain. Wouldn't mind drawing a dark bargain myself. Opponent discards Rite of Bells and Lock. Mirari Conjecture. So far I just have a sorcery in my graveyard, so I'll want to get an instant. I think I hold the Skin Winch back still in case opponent removes my Mammoth Spider. I don't want to trade 1 damage for 2. Deathbloom Thallid is good. Oh, and Sport, well, now I know what I'm going to be killing with my Eviscerate. Thallid Omnivore. Opponent can kill my Mammoth Spider, so I don't think we attack with it. Opponent is also Sultai, so this is the mirror match. Wouldn't mind drawing my own copies of Saproling Migration here, because I can kick them, and that would be great with the Thallid Omnivore. So we don't have attacks. If I attack with the spider, then they get in with Windgrace Acolyte, and they can triple block it with Deathbloom Thallid and the two saplings, and that's a pretty terrible trade for me. We're 2 mana away from kicking Baloth Gorger, so I think we hold off there. The opponent does seem to have something they can do for 1 mana at instant speed. Unless maybe I've disconnected. Oh, it's me disconnecting. Hold on. All right. So fortunately, we did not get punished for disconnecting there. Opponent hits their blue land source finally. We'll see if they have any splash cards to play. Knight of Malice. That's fine. Opponent has Spore Crown Thallid, which I wouldn't mind getting back from the graveyard with the Eldest Reborn. And I don't think the Eldest Reborn is going to get any better at any point, and we might still be able to make opponent discard a card, so I think we play it now. No attacks. So you can see how important it was to get an early blocker down, Muldrotha. Alright, well I might just be playing Mirari Conjecture. Okay, so opponent can't play Spore Crown Thallid, but they can get it back next turn. Alright, Fungal Infection, that was pretty good for them. So unfortunately, the Eldest Reborn, this is probably the worst Eldest Reborn ever, because they discarded a fungal infection to it, sacrificed a sapling token, and I won't have any creatures, there won't be any creatures in the graveyard to get back. Alright, I definitely need to get rid of Muldrotha here, so unfortunately this is going to be the saddest Mirari Conjecture ever, because I'm only going to get back Eviscerate. I'm not getting an instant back. Yep. We've also been missing our land drops, which is unfortunate. Opponent, meanwhile, has been hitting theirs. Playing Muldrotha and being able to play land out of the graveyard helps. Can't cast Final Parting because I have not drawn a single black source. That was a swamp that was in my opening hand, and I haven't drawn one since. Alright. I have to kill Muldrotha because otherwise they can get Rite of Bells and Lock back turn after turn. Alright, opponent kicks Grow from the Ashes. So this also means that more of the cards in their deck are action compared to us. Chainer's Torment is not very good, but with the Muldrotha, I think it is pretty strong. Alright, Saproling Migration. At least we can kick this. And we get to copy it with the Mirari Conjecture. So Saproling Migration was a great draw. Alright, this is a problem because I can't. My only removal for Rona is Cast Down, and Rona is legendary. Okay. I think we're losing this one. Opponent can get back Rite of Bells and Lock and Chainer's Torment over and over. Oh, that was pretty bad. I should have put Llanowar Elves or something in the graveyard. Alright, I think I just cost myself the game. I don't think... And they can replay Memorial to Unity. no. All right. I had one more land. I could play Slimefoot and Mammoth Spider. So my only hope is if opponent mills out before they kill me, which is pretty unlikely, because they can just recur Blood Tallow Candle and kill my creatures off over and over again. And they have all the men in the world, so they might even be able to do that twice. Oh, I'm just dead here. Oh well. Well, we definitely missing our land drops. I don't know if we were going to be able to win this game just because opponent had Muldrotha and then was able to get Muldrotha back with Rona. So I think we were just going to get outbombed, which happens in draft. If they hadn't drawn Muldrotha until late, and we'd actually hit our land drops, we might have been able to mill opponent out. But unfortunately, we were just not able to keep up, and we kept missing land drops, and that definitely cost us. Anyway, on we go. Okay, we're on the play. It's more punishing to mulligan when you're on the play because you don't get that extra draw step. So I don't really want to go down to 6. One black source lets me cast any of my black spells except Final Parting, I think it's called. And I do have Llanowar Elves in my opening hand, so we'll be able to get to Mammoth Spider and hit Sapling Migration faster, and Eldritch Reborn, for that matter, if we do draw Black Source. So I think I keep this. It's a little risky, especially if we miss our land drops like we did last game and get stuck with just green lands. But I don't want to go down to 6, and I can still cast most of my spells. So I think we keep it. I could Sapling Migration on 2. Opponent mulligans. A mulligan to 6 is not the worst when you're on the draw because you do get that extra draw step. Opponent leads with Salfurin Void. We draw another 5-drop we can't cast. I think as much as I would like to save Sapperling Migration for turn 6, I've got 2 other copies I can kick, and I might need these as early blockers or to get damage in if opponent is slow to get going. All right, this is concerning. We haven't drawn a land. Again, opponent blue-red. That is one of the best archetypes. And opponent's got ramp for instants and sorceries. All right, well, I could be running into a counterspell, but I think we still have to play Mammoth Spider here. And unfortunately, they exiled it, and they didn't have to tap their Arcanist, so I can't even attack with my Sapperlings. Swamp would actually be fine, because that would make them sacrifice Vidalian Arcanist, which I don't actually mind. And they're tapped out. Vidalian Arcanist only adds colorless mana. No, and okay. Well, if this keeps happening, then this is going to be a short video, because you can't win games if you don't draw lands. And especially when you're missing your second color. So maybe we should have mulled to 6. Uh-oh. And now there's Adelise. Alright, well, it comes into play tapped. Alright, I think Mammoth Spider is our best play here. That might be able to stabilize us. Navigator's Compass is fine. Don't have no creatures to get back with the Eldest Reborn. Okay, opponent attacks with Adelise and has 4 mana up for instants and sorceries. They can cast spells off the top of their library. And whenever they cast an instant or sorcery, wizards get buffed. So unfortunately, I think we have to let this through. Alright, I think I cast Dark Bargain now to try and hit my land drop. Unfortunately, Cast Down can't kill Adelise. Alright. We'll try to block Gitu Journey Mage. Kind of wish that were a swamp, so then I could have at least cast down the Gitu Journey Mage when they went to pump it. Cast that off the top of their library. Unfortunately, I really need a second black source. I can get an instant or sorcery from my graveyard to my hand. Dark Bargain, admittedly, not really what I want to be getting back right now because of the life loss. No attacks. I think we have to hold up cast down. All right. The reach blocker should block Adelise, but cast down doesn't kill legendary creatures, and I'd rather try to blow out. Yep, there it is. And they cast rescue off the top. Well, once again, not sure if I would have won because of precognition field just providing too much value for opponent and not having removal for Adelise. If I'd been able to get the Eldest Reborn down sooner, we might have stood a chance. But I've got one blocker. I can make some chump blockers with Sapling Migration, but I'm sure opponent has a way of dealing with that. So we're done here. Okay. On the play, well, I think after last game I've learned my lesson about keeping a hand with only one color of lands in it. Although we do have a spell we can cast. If we drew one more green source, Grow from the Ashes would be perfect, but I don't think I can keep this. I also went back and took out an island because I had two and put a swamp in. And of course, this is what happens as soon as I do that. Thank you, RNG. So we'll have to go to 6. This is even worse. All right, well, looks like we're going to be 2 and 3. Okay, we can keep this. And we send the Mirari Conjecture and Whisper. Mammoth Spider is just a better body. Same with Valid Omnivore and Cast Down as early removal. Drawing a land is pretty useful here. Opponent playing white, white-red. If I had a Sapling Migration in hand, I think I would wait to cast that, but I don't want to be taking 3 damage for free every turn. And we draw a card I can't play right now anyway, so I think that was the correct play. Baloth Gorger is bigger initially than Thallid Omnivore, and I don't have any other saplings to go with the Thallid Omnivore, so I think it's Gorger here. Reaching 8 mana, even in this deck, is difficult. Opponent has Fight with Fire. Alright, we draw a blue source. Hopefully they don't have another Fight with Fire. Alright, I could use not lands. Now the only problem is Aven Sentry will get first strike when they equip it with the Jousting Lance. So I might as well attack with Mammoth Spider here. If they don't equip it with the Jousting Lance, we're trading 3 for 3, which is fine. Yep, that's what I thought they were going to do. Alright, a Saproling Migration would be... oh, it's all the flying creatures. Okay, opponent attacks. They figure they can outrace me here. Alright, and of course, we've been having to top deck for several turns now, while opponent still has cards in hand from their opening hand, because we had to mulligan to 5. Divination would be fine. Eviscerate would be best. Alright. Well, I have to block. I'm assuming opponent has a trick. Yep. Alright, we might just be dead here. Okay, we're taking... yep, we're dead here. Well, that was extremely disappointing. I think this deck was better than 2 and 3. We'll just take a look at the deck as our post-mortem. Alright, so things didn't go the way I hoped they would. You kind of want to make at least 3 wins to have an even record, and 3 wins gets you 1,000 gems back. whereas 2, I think it's like 250 or something like that. So disappointing number of games and a disappointing reward. Slimefoot was excellent. The game we got him into play. I guess the game against the Muldrotha deck, we shouldn't have tapped out for Slimefoot, and I guess it was Whisper, and played the other Mammoth Spider, because opponent had 3 flying attackers. But I don't think it would have mattered anyway. Felled Omnivore was good when we had Saprolings. Caligos Skin Witch never really went off with the Caligos Skin Witch. Although getting the opponent to discard 1 card was fine, because it was a historic card that would have let them untap the 7/7 with trample that only untaps when you play historic permanents. Cabal Evangel was a fine vanilla 2-drop. Llanowar Elves was great when we played it. Saproling Migration was great. We never drew Fungal Plots. We never cast Divination. Grow from the Ashes was fine. The Eldest Reborn, even though it's a powerful card, it was very disappointing for us. We weren't able to get it down early enough in the game against the Wizards where it might have done us some good. And then, of course, it was terrible against Muldrotha because they were able to recur the creature that we would have got back with the Eldest Reborn before we were able to get it. Whisper's ability never came up. We never kicked Baloth Gorger, and we never saw a Primordial Worm. Memorial to Folly was useful. So, despite the result, I think I'm still happy with how the deck turned out. Some of the result is due to my piloting, but there is some luck involved as well, and we were certainly unlucky missing land drops in 2 of our games, and then having to mulligan to 5 in that last game there. That was definitely bad luck. So, what can you do? And of course, very bad missing out on Pick 1, Pack 1, where we auto-drafted Raf Capuchin, which didn't make the deck, as I didn't expect it would, when we could have got something like a Vicious Offering as another cheap interactive spell, or I think there was a Grow from the Ashes in the first pack. I can't remember. And unfortunately, I'm not on 17 lands, so I can't look back on my drafts to see what was in the pack. But anyway, all told, I did have fun, despite how things went. I thought I did a good job in the draft, but if you thought there were any cards I should have taken differently, let me know. If you thought I should have made any plays differently, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again. Bye.